This is Eduardo Jumbo. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to install Gitolite so that you can have open source Git hosting on your own server. And I'm going to use Podman and Podman Compose. Before we begin, quick reminder, I do a live stream every day at 2 p.m. Eastern. You visit ojambo.com, you go to watch menu live summon, you see the topics for this and upcoming tutorials, and you're free to join the live chat. For example, this article, you can see I have a link right to take you to the live chat. If you don't want to see that, you can simply watch the video. The video is always embedded in the article. And also be sure to subscribe, like, and follow. Leave comments. They help the channel grow and help other people, maybe just like you yourself. You're learning programming or Git and about Git servers. All right, so let's continue. So if you want to run your own Git server without relying on third parties such as GitHub, GitLab, or Bitbucket, and several others, Gitolite is a powerful open source tool that lets you manage Git repositories on your own terms with SSH-based access control, fine-grained permissions, and no need for a web interface. So if you notice, some of the other tutorials done before, the software was very nice, but yours had to manage everything using a web interface. Some of you might want more fine-grained control where you have a server and you don't want some software taking over everything. So you want something very simple, very lightweight. So that's what Gitolite is able to do. Gitolite doesn't even need Podman or containers. You can just run it yourself. But the reason I like to use containers is just to show you that you can separate things if you wish. Sometimes what happens is some software is very, very good, and it unfortunately, maybe it's using very new dependencies or older dependencies. So when you run it in container, you're able to isolate it and don't have to worry about that as well. Of course, it's also open source, and you can self-host your own Git server. Now, if you're what do you call it? Not keyboard command, or what do you call it? If you're command line, if you're very good with the command line, for me myself, when I have my own things, I just use plain Git. I don't use any Git, like any of this clients or Git servers. I just run everything on the command line. I can create my own users, but sometimes I said if you want. If especially when you're starting out, it might be over your head or you don't have time. So using things like, say, GitLab or Gitolite might help you. So let's get started. So you need to create admin keys. I've done this several times, but I'll do it again. And I'll show you how you can create admin. So you need admin keys. This is for Gitolite. And we're going to create a container file. So if you don't know what a container file, that's also known as a Docker file. But I'm using Podman, so I'm gonna use the actual proper term, which is container file. However, don't worry, if you guys have Docker installed, you can follow along. It's a drop-in replacement, so you can also use it. The reason I use Podman, in case you guys don't know, is because Podman is rootless. What that means is that you don't need to run it with root permissions. You can just run it with as a regular user. For example, if you have a server with shared like shared host, for example, the administrator can install Podman, and each of those individual users or accounts, they can use Podman to install, for example, you can create their own containers without relying on the admin. That's the problem with Docker, is that a lot of things, not a lot, but significant things actually need root or super admin permissions, but Podman does not. Now, that doesn't mean Podman is perfect, because there are some things where you need to tweak it so that it does work with Podman. For example, as I said, because it's rootless, by default the user is 1000 permission level. So meaning that it won't have access to anything less than 1000, for example. So that also includes port numbers and everything that. So you always have to put it over 1000. That's why you always see things starting over 1000 or 8000. Like that's when they do. That's the reason. Okay. In the name of security. Okay. So let's go ahead here. And let's actually get started here. So I am going to delete some of these files as you see here in this folder, so we can start from scratch and you guys can see how everything is done. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to delete these admin keys. We don't need them. So let's go here. I'm going to open up the console here, and I'm just going to resize this, clean it up a little bit. Okay, so you need an SSH key pair. So I'm just going to make one very quickly. So just SSH hyphen keygen. That's obviously to create the a key pair. Space hyphen T RSA space hyphen B. That means how the strength. So 4096 and hyphen F. This is the hyphen F is the file name, so the location. So I want it to create in the same folder I'm in right now running this command. So I'll just call it admin.key. You can call it anything you want. Then hyphen capital N space, and then here 2 double quotes. So there's not going to be a password. And then hyphen C, and then space, and then in here you just type in your email address. In this case I'm going to use the one I use for locally, and you see it has created the, let me zoom out here a little bit, so you can see it has created the and this is the fingerprint it used to create. So it says jumboshop.local. So it has created, you see it has created the key and the public as well. Now before we continue here, is the public key has to be only writable by the owner. So I'm going to change those permissions to 600. Admin key.pub. So the public one is the one that's going to be the permission has to be changed, because this one is going to be put inside the container. So we're done there. Next, what we need to do is we need to create an SSH SHD config file, or SSH config file. So this one here. So I'm going to open up these 3 files in the GNOME editor. Okay, make it half screen. Here we go. Zoom in here so you can see. So as I said before, you won't have access to port 22 obviously, because I said of the permissions. So we're gonna map it to port 2222 on the host system. That's probably better, especially because, as for me, I said I use Linux, so most likely port 22 I'm already using it for something else on the host system. But for this particular container, I'll just use port 2222. I'm not using that on the host system. And then I'm gonna disable the root login, because we want to use the SSH key. So password authentication, I say to no, but if you want to put one there, that's up to you. And then you see this public key authentication, we set it to yes. And we're not going to use PUM. This is only necessary if you are if you're running on like a dedicated server of VPS, but because we're running inside a container, we don't need that. Authorized keys file, you see it's .ssh/authorized_keys. The challenge response authentication is set to no, and the subsystem SFTP. So what this means is that, because this is going to be, all you care about is Git, so even if the person is able to SSH into it, they won't be able to do anything, because all their permission will just be SFTP. If you don't know what SFTP means that you can upload, download, and basically the same things you can do with FTP. I know it's a different protocol, but what I'm saying is that you won't be able to, for example, SSH into it and like run commands. You won't be able to do that. So that's why we set it to SFTP. It's another security thing to have, and then we actually give the path, which is /user/lib/ssh/sftp -server. So that's it. So that's our SSH configuration file. This is for the container. Now I'll show you the container file. Zoom in here. See, I'm going to use Alpine. You guys already see I always use Fedora or sometimes Debian or sometimes Ubuntu, but I wanted to keep this very, very light, so I'm using Alpine. In the past, Alpine was based on Debian. I think they now host their own repositories, and then they have their own, for example, you see it says APK instead of the apt command. Okay, so we're going to grab the latest version of Alpine. That's Alpine Linux. We're going to install the required packages. So I found out that instead of running the Gitolite from GitHub or some other download place, I'll just grab the one that Alpine already packages. That way I don't have to then worry about dependencies or anything. So the only thing you see I added was Gitolite and OpenSSH. Then after that, you see here I create a folder called /var/run/sshd. Then I create a home folder for the Git, because the Git by default is not a real user. It runs in a Git shell. So I need to create a home folder for the home directory for the Git user and the .ssh, because you see that a while later. And you see, then I give the permission to that home folder to get the Git user. When you install Git, automatically it will create the user. What it should do, it should also create a home folder, but it doesn't, because I said the Git is like a virtual user. It's only for the Git shell. So we actually need to create a real home for that user, so that we can so we can SSH into it. So things like this are automatically done if you're using a GitLab or others. So, but here we are, of course, you have to do a little more fine tuning, which is perfectly fine. And then you see we're going to generate some SSH host keys. And then after that, we copy up Hyasim. Oh, you're back again, Hyasim. Yeah, so then after that, we copy the admin public key from our host. We put it in the temp folder here. And then we change the ownership of that key inside the container. After that, we or basically we become it's like a sudo. So we become the Git user running as root, and then we run this command Gitolite setup, and you see we tell it this to use this key. You see PK stands for public key. We tell it the location of the public key. After that, we also copy, you see the word copy here, we copy the SSH configuration file. The D stands for Damien. Oh, Damien. And then see, we also copy it here. So it's rootless safe. And then we expose port 222 for the rootless Podman. And then we also run the SSHD. So this way we'll be able to SSH into we are actually not going to SSH, we're just going to be using a git command, but we need to run this so that so this is the command that's running the container file. So this I said you can call it docker file or container file. Podman will pick them up. Obviously if you're in Docker, you have to call it docker file. Alright, and then here's my YAML file. I call it podman-compose. I think for Docker it has to be docker-compose.yaml. As I told you, the version doesn't matter. The services, in case you wanna if you're listening through the podcast, the version is 3.9. So we have services, we have Gitolite. So we're going to build. Obviously, the build is going to grab our container file, and the container name, we'll call it Gitolite. The ports, you see, we map port 2222 to port 2222, and we have volumes. Gitolite data, this one we're going to create, it's just going to be /home git, and then we have the restart unless hyphen stopped, and the volume is only the Gitolite data. That's it. So that's our Podman compose file here. Now, what else do we have here? Oh, I already have this git admin, so I'm going to delete that one. And I think I ran this before. I probably didn't delete everything, so I'm going to go to the command line here, and I'm going to get rid of all the volumes just in case. So I want to make sure this starts from scratch. So I'm going to prune them. Yeah, so you can see some of so this was before when I was testing, you see, and we have this other thing, so we don't need those. I'll delete all of them. Great. Then all you have to do is type just type podman hyphen compose. That's it. Oops, forgot about that. Up. Am I building this, or you think second? Oh yeah, I'm building this. So yeah, so it's podman hyphen compose space up, and then hyphen d, and then build, because we need to build this. So just type build. I think there might already be one, but that's fine. We can build. And so you see, if we look at it, so it downloads the first thing it does is it downloads the latest Alpine. Obviously, I already have it, so it's going to grab it from cache. It's going to install Git and Gitolite. So I already did that before, that's why it's grabbing the cache. And then in this one, it's going to make those folders, the Git folder, the home folder, and the SSHD. Again, it's grab it from cache because I already done that before, and generate the SSH keygen. That's grabbing from cache as well. And then here you see it's going to copy. Now it says there's a problem right here. So it says there's a problem copying admin. So what did I do wrong here? The problem copying it to the on sources, copier, start, admin key, no such file. So did I make a mistake here? Oh yeah, okay. So I made a mistake. You see, I put underscore, it's actually dot. So that's fine, no problem. I don't think there's anything running here. Let me just double check. Podman ps-a. Yeah, so there's nothing. So let's go fix that. So I need to just tweak my container file here. So this one should be dot. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there we go, dot. So actually, you know what? I think I might have to. You know what? I'm going to redo this again. So I think I made a mistake when I created the keys. So I'm going to regenerate the keys just to show you, because I'm going to delete these keys and just regenerate them. Go back to the command line here and just go up, and I'll show you what command did I run to. Oh, this one here. Yeah, you see here, I put dot key. I should have put underscore. So there we go. It has regenerated those keys. Yeah, that's what I want. And then I'm going to now run the build. You see, this time there's no problems. And it let's see here. What did it do? So you see, it created the So when you do this, it also creates the default branch. And you see the branch, I think it's master. It creates a master branch. And then it runs all this inside the container. So you can see the community used. So this is because of wokeness. They want you to use main instead of master. But that's fine. And then so if you want, I can tell you to do this instead. But it's using master because that was the initial, I guess, when this problem was created a long time ago. So I'm gonna keep on using master. See, it did create one. This is inside the container, and then it copied the SSH configuration. It's exposing port 222, and you see it's perfectly up and running. So Gitolite is fully running. So you can just type podman ps-a. You can see it's been up for a minute. So everything's running, and you see port 222 is also tied to port 222 for the container. All right, now I've shown you guys before how you can obviously put I explained why I put the keys in the same folder where I have the Podman and everything. Normally by default this two would be created inside your .ssh, but I said I like to keep this here so I don't mark up my my other keys, because this is a tutorial. And sometimes there's reasons why you might want to keep them separate, and here's a perfect example of that. All right, now see the keys are here. Oh, I forgot, I have to change mode 600 admin key. I forgot to do this, but yeah, I should have done that. I forgot to do it. It might actually, if it doesn't work, I might have to get rid of it, but so make sure you do that as well. Okay, so what else we need to do here? So it's up and running. Now this one doesn't have, remember it does have a web UI, so everything is done on the command line. That took me a while to get the head wrapped around my head, because there is no you don't have a as I said, you don't have a web UI, so everything is done on the command line. So let me clear this up. So as I said before, if you want to use a specific key, in this case want to use this key, as I said, if you know SSH, it's pretty simple. It's just SSH space -I and then admin _ key. However, in this case, I want to do it for the for Git. So there's a few ways to do this. You can do an export. However, I mean, if you're doing an export just for one-time use, that's perfectly fine. Or you can also put it in your bash RC. I showed you guys how to do that yesterday. The problem with that is if it's a specific key, like in this case, it's a specific key only for this application, I do not want to put my keys in the bash or anything like that. So in this particular case, what you do is you type git, all caps, _SSH _ command, all caps still. Make sure you spell command, there we go. Then you put equals, I'm going to use single quotes, then SSH space I, and then the admin key. So that's it. So you just put that at the beginning of when you do a, and then after that space, then I can put git clone SSH / git, remember the git at localhost :222 / Gitolite -admin. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Okay, I meant git clone. I spelled clone wrong. So clone. There we go. You see? Now it says it could not resolve. What does it say? Could not resolve some. What was the type wrong here? Admin key. Git clone git. Oh, I made a mistake here as well. Man, I'm making so many mistakes today. So it's correct. Git clone SSH : / git at localhost :222 / Gitolite admin could not resolve hostname I. What is it? What in the world? That is weird. What am I doing wrong here? Let me look at the documentation here. Git clone SSH git 2020. Yeah, that's correct. Oh, I forgot to put -I here. That's what I did. I knew it was something silly. Yeah, it's -I. I already said that. There we go. Now you see, it was able to clone. It was able to clone Gitolite admin. That's the default repository, and that's how you're able to create more repos. So let me cd into it. So if we go into here, you see it has a config folder and a key directory. So what you do is, if you go into this config folder here, you see it says Gitolite .config. So let's open that in a text editor. This is what it looks like. You see right now there's only one repository. That's this one called Gitolite-admin. And then if you want to create more repositories, for example, you see there's another repository called testing. I think this is one I created before. Yeah, I think I created this one before. But you can create more. For example, I'm just going to copy. Yeah, after this one, I'll just press down here and I'll show you. So what you do is you type repo space, let's call this one my new project, and then for the my new project, I'm just going to keep consistent, so I'm going to copy this. So this means read write. If you put at all, meaning that anybody, it's basically like a public repository. So if you don't want that, if you want, this means everybody has read and write access. So you can also put just R, meaning read, and write, obviously. So in this particular case, I don't want my new project to be read and writable by everybody. So when I put admin key here, so that means that only the admin, you have to use the admin key to access this or to create this repository. Hope that makes sense. Okay, so this is the change I've made, line 7 and line 8. Okay, you guys see that? So let's go back to the command line here. So now in order to create that repository, so you just type git add, obviously whatever the specific file is. If you really want to be anal about it, you can actually put the folder, but I'm just gonna add everything, and then I put git commit. I'll just say added my repo. So you see one file change, 3 insertions, because there was actually 3. I pressed return as well, so 3 lines. And then all you have to do is type git push. So again, very similar to the git command up here. In this particular case, it's just simply going to be git, because we cloned it. So all you have to do is just type git push. Just type git push. That should be enough. Or if you really want to type the origin, was it origin master? Or origin master. Before I do this, let me actually go and make sure that's correct. So what I'm going to do is I go back here, enable the hidden files, and check out the config. Yeah, see, it's origin master. You see, it's origin master. Origin master is already there. I don't need to add this, it's already there. So I believe I should just put it's origin master is already here. So I most likely don't need to do that. I think just push would work. Oops, there we go. Man, what's wrong with my spelling today? Admin file admin key is not accessible. No file. Oh, you have to put the full path. This is one of the, so sometimes you need to put the full path to the key. yeah, so sometimes it's a little bit annoying. So what you can do is, oh yeah, because the key is not here. Remember, the key is outside the folder, so that's why that didn't work. So push. I don't need the U here because just origin master. There we go. So it pushed it, and you can see here it did actually push it. As you can see, it push origin master. I see here it says mirroring objects, counting objects, 7 out of 7, etc. And then using master as the name, default branch, because that was already in the config file. And you see it checked the config here, and then it's still hinting. It's very woke. It wants me to use main instead of master. Ooh, right. Wow. Okay, so there we go. So it really wants me to get rid of master and use main or trunk, anything else but master. Anywho, so you see I was able to push it to the master is set to master. So there you go. The things were pushed. Now I could actually clone my I could also clone my repository. So let's go do that. Oh, it's already 30 minutes. Okay, time is basically up here. So let's go back here, and so this is the main one, and then I'm gonna now try to clone my repo I just created. Clone, yeah. So the repo was called, let's see what it was called here. My new project. I hope I spelled that right. My new project. There we go. So you see it created my new project here. It's empty. It's just an empty repo. So that one you can then go and add things to it and etc. So it's that simple. So so this Gitolite is it's a Git server, except that there's no web UI, so you do everything on the command line. Now there are some tutorials out there where they have something like cgit or even is it GitWeb, so that you can visually see it on the web, but still the control stuff is usually done on the command line. So there you go. So if the Gitolite is an option for you if you want to be able to create repositories yourself. So I have never actually used Gitolite in a production environment, not because it's a horrible thing. I said usually because I'm pretty good with Git, so I usually just create my own repository manually. I don't even use something like GitLab. However, I've worked with other projects where they either use GitHub or GitLab or something else, and there's nothing wrong with that. I said whatever people are comfortable with, that's fine. And I said, like, personally, would I use this? Perhaps, yeah, sure. If it's for something like just pure software, like say I'm making a game or something, yeah, I'll definitely use something like this. It's pretty easy to set up. See, especially if obviously if you're not using it in like a container, like what I did here, then it's probably even much more easier to set up. But it's not a big deal. It's pretty easy to set up. So there you go. Hope you guys liked this tutorial. So for example, here we go again. If I show you the hidden folder, the .git, you can look at the configuration. You see again, it has master, which I do like, and then you see my new project. So there we go. Now, as I said before, you can also put your keys in a special place. You can create a config file. You can do. I've done tutorials on that as well. Okay. So that's the end of the Gitolite tutorial. So let's finish it up here. I do have some screenshots here as well, as you can see. Show you how to create the generate the SSH key pairs. You can see the container file. You can see the SSH configuration file. You can see the YAML file, and you can see me actually running the YAML Podman compose, and then cloning, and then pushing. And this is a live stream, as you can tell. File, you can see the. There was just a few seconds, I think milliseconds behind. If you want to learn more, I have books and courses. I have programming books on Amazon. You search for Ojambo. The links are also in the description. And I also have online programming courses at ojamboshop.com. The links are also in the description. And if you need help, you can book one-on-one tutoring tutorials sessions with me at ojambo.com/contact. Or if you need installation or migration for Git or Gitolite repositories, you can contact me at ojamboservices.com/contact. So, in conclusion, with Podman, setting up Gitolite is fast, clean, and secure. Whether you're managing your own projects or hosting for a team, this setup gives you total control over your source code and workflows. Look for more tutorials like this. Subscribe to my updates and follow along with future guides. Okay, with that said, I want to let you guys know that I do live streams every day at 2 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow I'm going to be away, but I'll put a video up for you guys. I might still actually, I haven't actually created the video yet, so I'll put it up later today. It should be ready for you guys tomorrow. And also I do have, oh yeah, be sure to subscribe, like, follow. It always helps out the channel. And maybe some people are looking for something like Gitolite, and now it will help out when you guys subscribe, like, and all that. It gets pushed as well. The algorithm pushes it. What else? Oh, I do have a couple more resources. I do have, as you guys know, I'm in a rural area, so I use satellite internet. Even right now, this is live stream. I'm actually doing. I'm using the satellite. I'm using SpaceX Starlink. I have the residential service. It works extremely well. I also use it for my phone. My phone is charging right now. If I could pick it up, but there you go. I do use it for Wi-Fi calling because the cellular signal is also weak here. So if you use Wi-Fi calling, if you guys don't know, it lets you receive, make calls, get SMS and MMS as if you're in like an urban area or where the signal is very strong, so you don't have to pay roaming fees. Fantastic. Meaning that I can actually go internationally. I could be in a different country. As long as I'm hooked up to Wi-Fi, I'll be able to send calls without paying any extra fees. And the SpaceX Starlink, it's been fantastic for me. I've been using it for over 2 years now, about 2.5 years. It works great during snowstorms, regular storms, thunderstorms. It works fantastic. I'm using the second generation, and I didn't bother putting up on the roof because I don't want to put holes in my roof, or when I get older, I don't want to be climbing up on the roof. So mine is on the ground. It works fantastic. I'm in an area where there's wildlife, meaning there's deer, there's probably 2-3 times a week. There's like coyotes and wild dogs, so they leave it alone. So it's perfectly fine. All right, so I do have a referral link. If you use my referral link and you actually get the service, I'll get 1 month free, and you also get a discount if you're thinking of getting it, depending on your job. The length depends on your geographical location. And also, I've been promoting this novelette, which I created. It's called The Algorithmic Serpent. It's about a scientist who creates an AI system, and then he loses control, so he has a limited time to get back control. Not just his mind, but also obviously the system. And as you can see here, this is the paperback version. It's available on Amazon, and it's very affordable. There's also an ebook version. So make sure you pick it up. It's a psychological thriller. All right. It doesn't have any swear words or anything. But if you're getting it for young one, just be aware that it's I said it's a psychological thriller. I wouldn't recommend it for people less than 13 years old. I mean, unless they're into like horror flicks stuff like that. But yeah, it's there we go. And what else? Okay, so that's it. And if you want to know more about me, each of these articles, I also have an author bio, so you can go read that. And again, it has links to my books, shop, and what else is here? Oh, the courses as well. So it's all in there. And I'm going to check the live chat. The only person who put in the live chat was Asim. Hi, Asim. Thanks again for joining the live chat. For the rest of you, again, I implore you to subscribe. When last time I checked my stats, it actually said that only something like 0.1% of the viewers are subscribed. So I probably have one of the highest number of unsubscribers. So I implore you to subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, and it really helps the channel. Okay, with that said, I am going to, I think it's supposed to rain today, so I'm going to go take a look at the chickens, and then I have to make that video for you guys tomorrow. I hope you guys like it, and I'll see you in 2 days from now. So happy Thanksgiving if you guys are in Canada, by the way. Happy Thanksgiving, and see you in 2 days.